Good day everyone, and it's another day and it's another learning. Sa araw na ito, ang pag-uusapan natin ay tungkol sa Coulomb's law. Now, Coulomb's law is it was of course named after Charles Augustin de Coulomb. And ano ba itong sinasabi sa Coulomb's law? So, pag sinabi natin Coulomb's law, it talks about the force or the electrostatic force between charges. And according to Coulomb's law, the electrostatic force between two charges is directly proportional to the product of the charges and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. And if we're going to put that in equation, Coulomb's law in equation is F, or the electrostatic force, is equal to K, which is the electrostatic constant, times the charge or the magnitude of the first charge, the magnitude of the second charge, divided by the distance between the charges. Now K, just like what they've said, is the electrostatic constant. And what is this electrostatic constant? Ang electrostatic constant, of course, it's a constant value. Ano ba ang value ng electrostatic constant? K is actually equal to 1 over 4 times pi times epsilon naught. And what is this epsilon naught? Epsilon naught is the permittivity of free space and is equal to 8.854 times 10 raised to negative 12 Newton Coulomb square per meter square. And that is the value of the electrostatic constant. Now, if we're going to solve for the electrostatic constant K, kung gagawin natin yung 1 over 4 pi times the value 8.854 times 10 raised to negative 12 Newton Coulomb square per meter square, then K is equal to approximately 8.99 times 10 raised to 9 Newton meter square per Coulomb square. And that is the value of K. So that's what we're going to use, at yan yung gagamitin natin sa lahat ng solving natin on Coulomb's law. Now, how about Q? Q is the first charge. Okay, usually it's in units of Coulomb. Okay, the first charge Q, or the smaller q, is the second charge. And then R is the distance between the charges. Now this is force, therefore it is a vector quantity. Okay. It is a force, therefore it's a vector quantity. And for two charges, there are only two types of forces that could act between two charges. Remember from the law of charges, the law of charges states that opposite charges, same charges or like charges repel. Okay, a positive and a positive will repel, and a negative and a negative will repel, and a positive and a negative will attract. Now, if we're going to look at the equation, F is equal to Q times Q over R squared. Now, the first charge, let's say for example, we have two positive charges, positive and positive. A positive multiplied by a positive is a positive. Therefore, the force is repulsive because same charges repel. Now, if we have a negative and a negative multiplied by another negative, the result is positive. Therefore, the force is repulsive. Now, if we have a positive and a negative, multiply a positive by a negative, then we'll get a negative. Therefore, in conclusion, whenever the force, this only works for two charges, if the force is positive, then it is repulsive. But if the force is negative, then the force is attractive. That is Coulomb's law.